Alright, so we are busy looking at the August 2020 Mathematics Higher Level Paper 1 for the Khomas region. Okay, we've already done questions 1 all the way through 6, and today we're looking at question 7. Okay, let's see what we have here. So the diagram shows a shape made up of 3 identical sectors. So here's 1, 2, 3 identical sectors, each with a sector angle of 65 as we can see. And the perimeter, the total outside length, is 20.5 centimeters. And they ask us to find the radius of the circle. Okay, so we can see here's one radius, here's another radius. And what else do we need for the perimeter? Well, we need these arc lengths. And since they're all the same, we could just find one of them and multiply that by 3. So how do we find an arc length? Well, an arc length is just a fraction of the whole circumference of a circle. Okay, so usually circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times radius. So our arc length is a fraction of that. So what fraction is that? Well, a full circle has 360 degrees in it. This one just has 65, so that's our fraction. 65 out of the 360 times by 2 pi radius. So that is this arc length we're looking at. Okay, let's just simplify that a bit. So 2 times 65 is 130 over 360 times pi radius. And we can divide all this by 10 and we get 13 over 36. So I'm just going to write 13 pi r over 36. And that is our arc length. Okay, fantastic. So let's just put that here. So that's that arc length. That's also this arc length. And it's also this arc length. So we have the circumference, right? This plus that plus that plus this plus that equals 20.5. So let's just write that down. So we've got r plus r, that'll give us 2r, plus, and then we've got 3 of these things. So let's write 3 times, and then 13 pi r over 36. And if we add all of that up, we should get an answer of 20.5 centimeters. Okay, great. Now we just need to solve for r. So let's do all the steps here. Let's multiply this in. So 3 and the 36 will cancel out and make that a 12. So we just have 13 pi r over 12 equals 20.5. Okay, great. So now we can factor out an r as a common factor here. So we can take out an r, and what's left? Well, that'll be 2 plus 13 pi over 12 equals 20.5, and then we can just divide both sides by the 2 plus 13 pi over 12. 2 plus 13 pi over 12. Okay, so that'll cancel out, and we just have r equals, and then we can type this whole thing in our calculator and see what we get. Okay, so we've got 20.5 divided by, and now I'm just going to put brackets around here and say that gives us, there'll be 2 plus, and then we're going to put this in brackets again, even though it's not really necessary, 13 pi over 12. And that gives us 3.79. I'm just going to copy the whole thing. So that is before we round off. And that should work. Now let's just test this to see if it works. So we're going to do a test, and if it works, then we'll round it off to 3 significant figures as they tell us in the instructions. Okay, so to test, we're just going to use this formula and pop this value in. So that'll be 2 times 3.793913128. Yeah, sorry for the ugly writing, but that's quite a bit of writing to do. 3 times, and we said 3 times. Actually, I'm just gonna use this part here. 13 times pi times radius, which is again the 3.793913128 over 12. Okay, let's see what that gives us. So pop this back into our calculation. So we do 2 times that. 2 times that plus, and then we go 13 pi times, and again 3.7 7939131228, and I'm going to put brackets around this and divide it by 12. So what do we get? 20.5. Perfect. So we see it works. Great. So now we just have to round that off to 3 significant figures. So that's to this spot here. So the 3 will make that remain a 9. So it'll be 3.79 centimeters. Fantastic. Okay, a regular polygon has an interior angle of 176. Find the number of sides. So this one we can do in at least 2 ways. We can use interior angles or we can use exterior angles. The exterior one will usually be quicker, but let's start with the interior one and do it the long way. So to find the size of a single interior angle of a polygon, a regular polygon where all the interior angles are the same size, we take the number of sides minus 2 and we multiply that by 180. That gives us the sum of all the interior angles. And if we want to find each interior angle, we obviously divide it by how many angles there are, and that'll give us the interior angle's value. And in this case, we know the interior angle has a value of 176. So from here, we can just solve for n to get the number of sides. Okay, let's multiply both sides by n first. So we'll have n minus 2 times 180 equals 176 times n. Then we can multiply the 180 in. So 180 n minus 180 times 2 is 360 equals 176n. Now let's get all the n's on one side. So 180n minus 176n equals, take the negative 360 over to become positive 360. 180n minus 176n is 4n equals 360. And finally divide by 4 to give us n equals 90. So that's how many sides we have. But we could also use the exterior angle version. So we know the sum of the exterior angles is equal to 360 always. Right, so we can use that idea. So what will the exterior angle be in a polygon if the interior angle is 176? Well, let's just take one part of this. So if this interior angle is 176, then the exterior angle will be 4. And the sum of the exterior angles is 360. So 4 times the number of sides equals 360, or number of angles. So we can just divide by 4, and we get n equals 90. So it's the same answer, and this one is just a little bit quicker, but this one gets us the same answer. So both of those will be correct. Great, so that is then it for that video, and in the next one we'll look at, yes, at this page, a bit of algebra. Okay, see you again soon for the next one.